What's up, everyone? Morey Croson here with the Performance Lab of California, and we're going to do another sprint breakdown here today on Trae Williams. He's a guy from Australia. This one he ran a 10.27 in the Australian Junior Championship. Pretty good run. Looked at some of the other videos. I think this one's the best overall run in terms of performance. Some of the other ones were a little bit higher up, so that 10.27 would be the best one. I've gotten a couple people that have said that I should do Trae Williams. I saw in one of the videos that his nickname is Quadzilla, which I thought was kind of funny, but definitely is a representation of how he runs. Which we'll get right into. So we'll start out the breakdown here. I think one of the reasons why people wanted to get his or see him is because of his start, and so we'll look into his start here. You can see, very common with what we see with guys with a lot of those really good starts. He gets that front foot. He does a good job of getting it out in front of him a little bit there, but he also gets it down quick. Okay, most importantly, it seems like that first step, you really need to get it down quick. Don't need to overreach. See how that foot is down pretty quick? There's some guys like here overreaching a little bit. You can see, how that impacts their beginning step, because you see he's pushing off that front leg, getting that second leg already out, and these guys are just a little bit behind there, right? His second leg's already down. These guys are still kind of catching up a little bit, and that's one of the things with Trae is he does get a good start. And the big reason why is because he does have those big strong legs, big strong quads, but he also is trying to get those legs down quick, and he's very gets those feet off the ground very well at those beginning stages. He needs to get a little bit more hip flexion. Notice here, especially on that right side. Watch when he comes up, that knee needs to be able to get up a little bit higher. Okay, see that right there? Knee needs to get up higher. That could be coming from one or two problems. One, again, not having the hip range of motion. Maybe hips aren't shifting side to side very well. The other thing could be just a lack of strength there within that right leg. So if you can get that right leg a little bit stronger, or right hip, I would say, maybe core, one of those things to be a little bit stronger. You should be able to get a little bit more hip flexion. You can drive that knee up a little bit more, which would help him in those beginning stages of the start. I'd say next thing is he stays in that acceleration stage a little bit too long, but so does these other guys that are up there close to him, and he's still in a pretty good spine angle. You want the spine angle to be a little bit closer to how this guy is. I know he's back behind. He did kind of overextend himself with his beginning steps, but in terms of spine angle, that's good. So Trae Williams could do a better job of getting that spine angle into a good position, which would really help him out. Okay, now as he gets going, I'd say one of the things that stands out is he is very kind of side to side and how his shoulders are moving, right? So see how his arms are kind of moving side to side, especially that left arm going right off to the side instead of going as much back. That means he has a lot of core strength. In order to do that, you must have a lot of ability to maintain pelvis position to still run 10.2 while moving those arms off side to side a lot. Okay, so what that means is, especially on that left side, he could really do a better job of getting some T-spine rotation, which again goes into T-spine extension. That's one of the things that I talked about in a video recently, is that you really need to be able to maintain good position of the spine, because when you get good thoracic spine extension, then you have a better chance of having good shoulder biomechanics. When you have good shoulder biomechanics, then you're going to be able to effectively produce force within the shoulder joint, and that's essentially what's happening here, is that not great biomechanics on the left shoulder, and the reason is because just not an excellent thoracic extension in his spine, in that mid back. So if you can work a little bit on that, and then you could also help him accelerate a little bit more and help him get to another level in terms of overall sprinting mechanics and sprinting speed. Lower body wise, though, just like what we talk about, very similar to a lot of the top sprinters. I mean, you can see he does a very good job driving that heel all the way up to his butt. He has great flexibility. He's getting that heel up to the butt before that knee crosses that down leg, which is excellent. He can probably get a little bit more, like we talked about, that right knee can get a little bit higher, which would help him get a little bit more extension and get a longer step, but he has very good stride frequency, in that his doesn't spend very much time on the ground between each one of his steps, and part of the reason is because he's very strong and very rapid in the upper body and is really moving that core a lot and moving that pelvis a lot. So, there could be some negative effects that would happen if he increases stride length. So, he would have to not only increase stride length, but he have to increase stride length and also increase the range of motion within his shoulder to make it so it's all more smooth, so he can then increase his power output. If then he increases his power output and that leads to more stride frequency, now we'll be able to see an increase in sprinting performance. But if he just tried to increase his stride length without addressing some of those other problems, he wouldn't be able to necessarily see good sprint improvement because of some of the other missing mechanics that you need. So that's an important concept to understand. I'll say it again. If you just have a really good stride frequency and you just try to increase stride length and you don't work on the fundamental biomechanics that help you achieve more stride length, which for Trae is going to be get a little bit more rotation in the thoracic spine. Sorry about that. Get a little bit more rotation within the thoracic spine, which would then make it so his shoulder would be able to get more straight back extension rather than coming kind of right off to the side. Now when he is able to get that the right shoulder range of motion, now he'll be able to get the right activation within the core, and we'll be able to create more power output when he's coming forward into that hip flexion. And now, the increase in stride length comes from an increase of power output rather than just increasing, when he gets here, just trying to drive the knee up and extend that leg out, okay? Because if he's doing that, and he's doing it inefficiently, then it could actually have a negative impact and slow him down. So important thing to understand is that, if you're going to increase and improve, your stride length or your stride frequency and working on these certain, biomechanics, you have to be able to do that in a way that's going to actually impact your sprinting speed and improving your sprinting mechanics, and not just doing it in a way to just solve the problem, to just put a Band-Aid over the problem. Okay, there's a lot of people that do that for an injury prevention standpoint that ends up negatively, impacting their ability to perform. Is because you just put a Band-Aid over a problem rather than actually addressing it. But you can see, as he's going here, that right shoulder, gets pretty far back, but the left shoulder, you hardly even see the elbow. Okay, so he's not getting very much back there with that left arm, which obviously, he runs 10.2, so it's not like he's at a super bad position. The reason he's able to run 10.2 is because as he goes, he gets more and more of a slight forward lean there in his body, because he has so much good quad range of motion there and is able to keep those feet underneath him very effectively. So he has really good stride mechanics and foot lower body mechanics, which, with those top sprinters, they're all very, very similar. Could just make some improvement in terms of power output and stride length, and that would make a impact on overall performance. So overall, I think he's a great sprinter, though. Another top guy. Somebody that you could take stuff from and replicate some of his form. The big thing is, like I said, is that he gets that heel up to his butt with that knee still back behind his front knee, which is excellent. That's something that we see within elite sprinters and something that is very undervalued, right? And a lot of people can't do that as easily as somebody like Trae can. So. And he is creating a lot of force in his upper body, a lot of force in his core. That's why he's able to maintain stability within the pelvis, even though his arms are going so much side to side. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Tyreek Hill and how he runs. So as always, guys, thanks for watching these videos. If you guys want to send in a breakdown, get your own personal breakdown here, come with some exercises as well, you're more than welcome to. We do charge for the service. There's a lot of value that we think we're providing for, giving you the exercises, giving you the information, being able to explain this all to you. And so it is a service that we provide. It's not something that we just do for free, but the value's there. So if you guys want to do it, by all means, send over an email to me, either info@yourperformancelab.com, or my personal email, Morey, Morey, @yourperformancelab.com. As always, thanks for watching these videos, and we will see you soon.